Hello and welcome, everybody, to the Twins Off Daily podcast brought to you by twinsdaily.com. How the heck are you, Twins territory? We are back after another fun week of Grapefruit League action for the Minnesota Twins. I'm Sweet Lou Hennessy, and I am joined here by two of Twins Daily's finest. We got Mr. Cody Shomden. What's up, Cody?
Hey, I'm excited to be on the Daily Dose. I'm a big fan, longtime listener.
Welcome.
Can't wait to join.
Yeah, no, Cody brought up the Twins Daily Dose. That's going to be a new live stream series that Twins Daily is going to be throwing out there. We are kind of messing with it in spring training, but we're hoping to have that up and running full swing by the time the season starts. But we're here to talk about one podcast at a time. So let's go with the other host of the Twins Off Daily podcast, Mr. Greg T. Masterson. What's up, Greg? I almost said Greg Schoenman.
Oh, Schoenman. I don't judge.
Hey, it's got a good ring to it. But how are you, Gregory T. Masterson?
I think I'm already tired of spring training. Is that unfair? Is that a controversial statement? I don't know.
We've heard worse from you.
You're gonna hear worse from me later.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I don't know. I'm just kind of tired of spring training already. I'm ready for the season to start. I'm ready for that Thai France opening day home run. Let's get on with it.
There we go. We all know it's going to happen. But we are excited to have everybody here today. Like we said, another week of action in the Grapefruit League. Not a ton of major storylines, but we'll definitely want to dive into some early impressions from some of the Twins players that have shown up or maybe even failed to show up so far in spring training. But let's talk about our walk-off question that we are going to try and answer at the end of today's episode. A couple of days ago, Byron Buxton made some comments that got some headlines saying that he wants to finish his career with the Minnesota Twins. He wants to be with them from start to finish for his entire career. So our walk-off question today, which player do you wish, former Minnesota Twin, do you wish would have been with the club for their entire career? Maybe they started here, left, and they were the one that got away. Maybe they started somewhere else and you wish we could have had those early years. There's a lot of good options to pick from. So think about your favorites, players that were not a Twin for their entire career, and let us know your favorites by the end of the episode here, and we will let you know what we're thinking too. But for right now, let's boogie on over to our big inning topic, which, like I said, we want to talk about spring training and the players who have made some early impressions on us so far. So why don't we go one by one real quick? Let's talk about who's caught our eye the most in just this first week and a half of action here. Greg, let's start with you. Has anybody on the Minnesota Twins caught your eye for a particular reason or another?
I'm looking at this guy. I'm following this guy pretty closely, and so far I'm okay with what I'm seeing. Iverson Castellano.
Okay.
I do think that he's going to make the team out of spring training, and that might be just like a take that I've stamped into the ground. So now I'm bound to follow it. But he's looked fine. He's looked nice. He had he was pumping 97 his first outing. That was very exciting. He struggled a little bit in that second outing a couple of days ago, but he's still looking nice. His pitches are looking nice. I'm excited to see what he can potentially be. I really do think that the Twins need kind of a long reliever right now, and especially Topa is not looking awesome, and he's kind of like your default kind of bulk inning guy. I don't know. I'm feeling pleased, and I'm feeling comfortable with what I'm seeing out of Iverson Castellano. I hope that this is going to work out for the team.
I think on a recent episode of Gleeman and the Geek, they were talking about somebody, I think it was a mailbag episode, and somebody sent them a question of what's the over-under for innings pitch for Iverson Castellano on the Minnesota Twins this year. And I think it was John who made the point of the over-under is like a half an inning, because there's a pretty significant chance that he doesn't pitch for the Twins and he's returned to the Phillies, or they work out a trade and send him to the minor leagues, or he's hurt, or he's on the team for the entire year, because since he's a Rule 5 pick, he cannot be sent back down. So I don't know. Cody, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, also on the Castellano front, I'm kind of interested in what like a trade would look like if they do decide to trade with Philly. How high of a prospect would it be?
Aaron Sabato, get ready to learn Philly, buddy.
I'd be welcome to that, but that's just kind of an interesting little nugget. So I wanted to touch on, so both new additions have played pretty well, Ty France and Harrison Bader, but I want to go more into Bader specifically. I've been really excited about what I've seen so far. I know last year he started out the year hot for the Mets, and he was really good for them until the All-Star break, and then he kind of fell off a cliff, and Tyrone Taylor took over at center field. But I mean, so maybe we're going to have that again this season. It wouldn't be a horrible outcome, but I think Bader's going to have a really big role with the Twins to begin the season, whether it's as Buxton's backup or in left field while Larnach platoons, or while Larnach DHs or Wallner DH, or my gosh, I'm repeating myself. Sorry. When Wallner or Larnach DH, Bader will be in left field. Sorry. So yeah. I'm really excited about the role he will play. I think he's going to be like a really integral part of the Twins' success this season. I mean, I talk about depth a lot, but those guys kind of go underappreciated, and Bader will play a big role, I think, in whether the Twins can return to the playoffs. So I think he's looked really strong. He's shown some power. Obviously, he's going to be good in the corner outfield. So I'm excited about that addition, and I think he will prove to be a really, nice player for the Twins this year.
Do you prefer Willie Castro or Harrison Bader getting the bulk of that time? Because if you're talking about like games that Larnach or Wallner are DHing, you're probably choosing between those two guys. Cody, if like second base is out of the equation, like if you've got just a normal, like Willie Castro is your 10th man type rotation, would you prefer Willie Castro in left field against righties, or would you prefer Harrison Bader?
Castro hits better as a lefty, right? That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah. Honestly, given just like his defensive prowess, I think I would prefer Bader right now. I mean, I'm kind of low on Castro and how he finished last season. Like he was pretty bad to end last season, and they blame that on wear and tear. And left field is a position where you have less wear and tear, I suppose. So maybe if you got the bulk of opportunities out there, would be wise. But I mean, they're kind of the same rate, market level. I mean, they both are making around $6 million this year. They're very comparable players. Obviously, Castro has, the versatility and the ability to play in the infield, but in left field specifically, given just, his defensive prowess in the outfield, and I think his bat might play a little bit more this year, I would take Bader, I think, honestly.
Interesting to compare the second half for Castro and for Bader, either of which performed very well.
You're both bad. Yeah.
Great. Just great. We have both of them. Unbelievable. New season. That's true. Fresh slate. I'm hoping Bader's mullet is looking good. That's all. That's the priority numero uno for me with Harrison Bader. Make sure that
those cutoffs
can fly, my friend.
Crop tops are looking great.
Oh, great crop top, man. Nobody wears a crop quite like Harry Beatty. So, yeah, I think it'll be fun to have Harrison Bader out there on a consistent basis for sure. He seems like a likable player. He seems like he plays a pretty fun brand of baseball. So I'm excited to see. Do you think he starts more games in left field or center field this year?
Oh, gosh. Did the Twins make the playoffs or no? Because honestly, if you tell me the Twins made the playoffs, I would assume that he starts more games in left field. If the Twins don't make the playoffs, I would assume that he's starting more games in center field, because that means Byron Buxton isn't playing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that even if they do call up, say, like mid-season Emmanuel Rodriguez or Luke Keeschel, Deshaun Kersey, I think that Bader would have priority over those three. I'm not 100% sure if at this point in his career Bader is a better defensive center fielder than Kersey, but yeah, I think that if Byron Buxton misses significant time, that's going to be a lot of Harrison Bader in center field, no matter who else is on the roster. Oh gosh, I don't know.
Yeah, he's a primary backup, and if Buxton goes down in April or May, it will be Bader as long as he's healthy. So it kind of depends on when it happens during the season, because if it is September, then it could be Rodriguez. That would make sense. But I hope it's Bader more in left field. I know Lou made the prediction that Rodriguez will play more in center field than Bader this year. So, I don't know. But yeah, you hope it's left field.
Loostradamus, that's what I'm calling. So shout out TFT. I'm calling it. But Bader, if he does, Greg, I think how you put it is pretty accurate. If the Twins are a good team and headed to the postseason, he's playing mostly left field and not as much in center. Yeah, so let's hope that's the case. That'd be a ton of fun. Who else has caught our eye? One player that really I think is on the outside looking in, but has impressed me so far is David Festa. That fastball, he was pumping it up at 96, 97 consistently, and he was locating it really well, which his other two really plus offerings are going to play off of that. So if he's looking really sharp with that fastball early on and he can maintain that, I'm really excited about David Festa. I think he's going to pitch some really key innings for the team. What do you guys think about David Festa and his outlook right now?
Cody.
I think he's slated to begin the year at AAA.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's going to be Paddack and Woods Richardson. I do wonder.
Everybody's favorite game, is Chris Paddack still a Twin? And as of March 2nd, 2025, Chris Paddack is still a Twin.
Ooh, it is still early on March 2nd, 2025. But yes, the answer right now, Chris Paddack, still a Twin. Cody, the floor is yours again.
I know Festa, I wouldn't say blew up, but he did kind of struggle against, was it Boston where he gave up 4 runs?
Pish posh.
Yeah, I mean, it's spring training, but I mean, I don't want to be hyperbolic and like speculate, but like, could maybe Matthews have like the inside track on a spot over Festa right now, given how good he's looked?
Oh, Zebby looked great. Zebby looked really good, and I am very encouraged. Did you guys submit top 30 prospects to Seth for twinsdaily.com?
I
did too,
and I think it might be too late. Sorry,
that's all right.
Seth.
You would certainly have the identical list to us. I had Zebby Matthews 4th after the big 3. After
that's where I would have Gabriel Gonzalez.
Yes, it could be. Yeah,
I actually put Keishel ahead of Rodriguez.
I would. Oh, okay, that's a fun take. We could talk about that later. Greg, I just would love to see your unhinged list of top 30 prospects.
Well, I will say that I do put together a top 125 prospects every year in the Gregg Media Guide.
No free ads.
I swear. I mean, I actually have it. I was working on it before we jumped on today. I was actually working on my top 125 prospects list. So
unbelievable.
No free ads, but.
I heard that Greg puts Aaron Sabato with his corresponding age is like on the prospect list, and then until he reaches 30, where did Greg go?
He just couldn't talk about it. Just couldn't talk about it anymore. So we will tap dance until he's back. But Aaron Sabato, you're saying so like when he's at age 26, he's ranked 26th.
Yeah, and then when he gets to 30, that's his last time on the list, and then Greg will make the list actually go further. The older Sabato gets, he will stay on the list as long as he's in the org.
If you look at last year's Twins Daily story by Seth about going through the prospects, you will see a note that said one list had Aaron Sabato at 29, and well, I'm not going to say who, but it could be somebody in this very room.
Now, who knows? Who's to say? Who's to say?
Who is to say?
Should the Twins rank Aaron Sabato? ? That's the next question we have on the Twins Off Daily.
Speaking of big dudes who ding dongs,
yes,
Matt Wallner, leadoff hitter. How are we feeling about that, fellas?
Strongest leadoff hitter in the game, baby.
After they stop letting Joey Gallo bat leadoff.
Clearly, for now, we'll see. Who knows what the White Sox are going to do this year?
I know Wallner has a high on base, and he's a high power guy, and like it's always cool to start games off with a solo home run. But there's just something in me that doesn't like the idea of Wallner at leadoff. I don't know what it is. It might just be like the old school baseball fan in me being like, you can't have Matt Wallner at leadoff.
The old school baseball guy. What are you, 19, 20?
Close enough. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think. Even maybe like Castro did pretty well in the role last year, or if Julian can do anything this year, I would just opt for them to be in the role over Wallner. I mean, I like Wallner in the 5 hole a lot, or even in the 6 spot, because there's there's more opportunity to drive in runs there. But again, like I don't know, maybe that's like a anti-analytic perspective for me, and I have hive mind. Being a mid-20s stat nerd, so I have to be the only pro analytics. So I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong. Maybe I'm working against myself. But I just don't like the vibe or the aesthetic of Wallner at leadoff.
Go back to your Gen Z echo chamber, Cody, please. Thank you.
My hug box.
I do. I don't know. I wish that there was a better option, but at the same, like, I don't know. There's even a little part of me that just says, just lead off Correa. But I feel like if we've gotten to this point and Correa's not leading off, he's just not going to, and that might be a decision on his half. I don't know.
I mean, Buxton, he's no.
Yeah, Buxton can get on base at what, a 301 clip, and well, we'll see how it goes from there. No, I mean, like, Matt Wallner gets on base better than anybody on the Twins over the last 2 years. Like he has like a 370 on base percentage. He can start a game with a moonshot, which I think is terrifying. Like, can you imagine like the terror that goes through an opposing pitcher? Like, obviously you're going to be going up against tough hitters. No matter who's leading off, that's going to be one of the better hitters most likely in any lineup. But if that's Matt Wallner up there, and you know that if you make a mistake, he's going to put it 450 over the batter's eye in dead center field, and that's how you're going to start a game, like, come on. That is a little scary.
Were you guys...
That happens like 5 times a year? Like, I don't know.
Were you guys in the camp in, the mid 2010s, 20-aughts, whatever, when... were you in the camp of Joe Mauer should bat leadoff when he was still kicking, still around? Because that was a big conversation point among Twins fans, at least on Twins Twitter for a couple of years. It was, we were so used to seeing him batting third, traditionally speaking, your best hitter growing up. It seemed like that was the strategy, to put your strongest hitter third. And then slowly people were like, wait a second, no, most teams were putting their best hitter second. And then eventually towards the back end of his career, when on base was one of his only, big offensive weapons, people were saying, well, maybe they should bat him leadoff more often. You guys don't remember being in that camp, though?
I mean, go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, in the mid-teens, the mid-2010s, I was more concerned with Joe Mauer should be batting second. Like, that was just, that was the crusade that I was fighting. In the follow-up to Gardy, like that, as long as he could get up to second, like my fighting was done. But by the end of it, like, it made sense to have Mauer leading off. Obviously, like, he wasn't a burner, but if his one skill was getting on base, then just have at it. It feels uncomfortable, though, to look at like a lineup and see first base as the leadoff hitter. It almost gives me a stomach ache. I was at a game actually in, I think, 17 or 18 where Mauer got injured, and then Logan Morrison came in to play for him, and he was batting leadoff, and that was the worst looking lineup card I've ever seen in my life. Logan Morrison, first base, leading off.
Yeah,
gross.
Fun. That leaves a bad taste in your mouth for sure. But I mean, we started talking about Wallner. So Wallner, like we said, huge on base potential. What I love about this, though, is that, one, it's not like they're committed, that they're saying he's going to be our leadoff guy, yes or no. And this is a change that can be made like instantly. If things aren't going right, you move him down in the lineup. It's no big deal. It's not like, oh, we're committing to him as the starting right fielder and we're not going to have much of a backup plan, anything like, defensive positioning, stuff like that, or that sort of role. But it'll be something to watch for sure. So lots of Matt Wallner in the leadoff hole or leadoff spot. Anybody else have a name that has caught their eye at spring training so far?
Yeah, Corey Lewis, but maybe for good and bad reasons, I guess. So Corey Lewis was pumping that knuckleball. Well, what did he hit? Like 84 with the knuckleball or something like that. It was low to mid 80s. Yeah. Just one of the coolest pitches that exists in baseball right now is Corey Lewis's knuckleball. And this might be like, he threw it about 40% of the time, which is up from what he normally does, about 20-25% of the time. And so I'm curious if the Twins are potentially, like, this is one outing, so who cares? But I'm curious if the Twins are going to lean a little bit more into a more knuckleball heavy repertoire for him, where it's no longer mostly used as an out pitch. Yeah. I'm super curious about that. If for no other reason than also, like, his velo is down right now, and kind of significantly. where he has generally been able to kind of pump, low 90s, 93-ish on the fastball. And in his first outing this spring, it was like he was struggling to break over 90. And I feel like at that point, there is like a conversation to be had whether, if you're not able to get that fastball going, if you don't have the stuff with your other 4 pitches, which is incredible that he throws like a good knuckleball and also throws 4 other pitches.
Yeah.
They might be and again, this is one outing, so I don't want to overreact, but I could see a reality where they start saying, you know what, just pump the knuckleball. Like it's a really good knuckleball. Maybe we give up on the dream of having you be a 5-pitch pitcher where you mix in a knuckleball as a strikeout pitch. Maybe we just pump the knuckleball a la Tim Wakefield at this point. I don't know.
If they go that route, do you think they risk, if they limit the offerings in his repertoire, does that signify that maybe it leads him to a bullpen role more realistically as a major leaguer if he's cutting down on some of his offerings, just going with knuckleball, a couple other ones that are really working for him? That's the recipe that you see a lot of times for starters that transition into a relief role. Could you see that for Corey Lewis, or is it too early to say right now?
I feel like it's the other way around.
Really?
If you're saying, knuckleball, I think I might have seen Cody like go wide eye for a second there. So I'm not sure if we're on the same page.
No,
I feel like specifically with the knuckleball, if you were going to say you're a knuckleball only guy, the last thing you want to do is put that guy in the bullpen and have him come in with like runners on base. If they're going all knuckleball or like 50, 60, 70% knuckleball, I feel like that's going to pigeonhole him into being a starter only, which you can take it or leave it. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, I would throw up if I had a knuckleballer coming out of the bullpen.
No, I agree. Has there ever been a knuckleball, primarily knuckleball reliever ever? Has that been?
There was one on MVP Baseball 2005. He was on the Astros. I can't think of the guy's name, but they do exist. I do know that I think that knuckleballers have been used as long relievers before because you can just throw a knuckleball forever. And so there have been mop-up man knuckleballers, I believe.
The Twins used to have one, but I want to bring him up later on in the show. So I'm going to keep that under wraps, let's just say. Okay, so maybe that's not in the card so much for Corey Lewis. I'm a big fan of his. I think on my prospect rankings, I had him maybe at number 10 or number 11 or so. Mm-hmm. They have some really interesting arms that are going to be in that mix at the same time as Corey Lewis. So it'll be interesting to see when he gets his opportunity because I think it's going to be a sprint for some of the guys that he's bending against. But okay, cool. Well, yeah, Corey Lewis is a knuckleball. That's been pretty fun to watch for the most part. Anybody else we want to bring up before we move on to the next segment?
Yeah, so this is kind of a deep cut, but there is a guy who's been getting some decent playing time for the team so far, and his name is Alan Cerda. So kind of a history lesson. So Cerda, he's 25 now, but he used to be a top prospect in the Red system. In his 2023 prospect rankings, Eric Longenhagen of Fangraphs had him ranked 5th in the Red system. That was 2 spots behind Ellie De La Cruz and then 2 spots ahead of Matt McLean. The reason I know this is because I recently wrote about him for Twins Daily, and there'll hopefully be a piece coming out soon. But he's looked really good in spring training. I think he has like 7 at bats, so obviously a very small sample size. But he has 2 doubles, and he cranked a home run that just like that sounded so loud, and it was like a 4-15 shot to left field. And I don't know, like. This guy, he isn't going to play for the Twins this year, and if he does, either something went catastrophically wrong or he just like was insane at AAA, which, I'll take the latter. But he is somebody to keep an eye on. He's kind of a post-hype prospect, obviously. I don't know if he was ever in top 100 list, but as I noted earlier, he was very high on Longenhagen's list, and, Longenhagen's one of the most well-respected prospect guys in the business. So I think there's, there's reason to respect that ranking. And I think he's somebody the Twins could still develop. I mean, he's only 25, so maybe there's like a long-term path to him becoming something. But the problem is that like he had like a 35% strikeout rate at AA, and he's had that for like 3 years now. So we're talking about a real Joey Gallo type, maybe even worse if he actually were to be in the majors. But again, that's not this year. The Twins are known to kind of tap into young guys, young position players' potential. Offensively, I feel like they do have a pretty good, player development program on the hitting side as well as the pitching side, obviously. So there's something to look forward to there with him. But I keep an eye on him. Keep a eye on him is, just kind of what I'd say. Also, Louie Varland is somebody I'm pretty impressed with. I think the player formerly known as Louie has looked pretty good, and he might have a spot in the bullpen as the season opens.
Yeah, where would you put the chances that Louie Varland makes the Twins bullpen coming out of spring training between 0 and 100% chance?
I mean, given that Topa hasn't looked very good and he still has a minor league option, I'd probably put it at like 65 right now. I don't know, 65? Kind of above 50, I'd say.
Greg, how about you?
Do we think that Jorge Alcala is getting sent to St. Paul jail while they still can?
Hey, that's what I wrote. He only has 8 days left of before he's at 5 years of service time. So they have 8 appearances of him to make that decision. So if they're coming at it from a depth perspective, they could start him out there, but I think a lot of it hinges on if Castellanos still looks good. And then if Topa struggles, you might just be like, okay, Alcala, you have a job, and Varland, you have the inside track right now, and Topa, you're in AAA, and Castellano, you're with us as long as we can have you.
What do you guys think of the theory that because Alcala signed that, 1 year, $1.5 million is what he has on his contract, there's an idea that like, well, he's not gonna opt out and become a free agent if he gets optioned, or if he gets sent down, if he gets DFA'd, he's not gonna choose free agency because he would forego that 1.5 million. I don't put much credence into that. I don't know. What do you guys think? 1.5 is not that high above the MLB minimum, and if another team really likes him and thinks that he could be a good player, I could see him latching on with somebody else pretty easily. What do you guys think?
I mean, 1.5 is less than what he was estimated to get in arbitration this year by MLB Trade Rumors. They pegged him at 1.7 as an ARB 2 guy, which probably means that he is at least worth like $3 million. If we want to just like do the math here, I feel like if Jorge Alcala hit the free agent list, he would get a job, and it would probably pay him more than what the Twins are paying him right now. I don't know. I think that he would, if given the chance. I'm going to say, like, if given the chance, he's getting the heck out of town because the Twins hate him. We've established that the Twins hate him. I don't know. I don't feel like he would keep with the team if he. I don't know. I feel like every MLB player who's like even fine as a player is ready to get into free agency,
Sure. Not to mention that if he was pushed out of the picture, it's likely because there's just such a party out there. There's so many candidates to be in that bullpen that he might think, look, I could stick with this team, but there might be ample opportunity on, the Athletics or on the Marlins or something like that. He could latch on and actually get a longer runway to really, dig in and establish himself as a regular in somebody else.
As a seventh inning guy.
Yeah.
Because he could potentially be a seventh inning guy. Sure. Right now with this bullpen hierarchy, he's like a fifth, sixth inning guy.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Cody.
If the Twins DFA'd him, there'd be a pretty robust trade market, I think, for somebody to get him before he went through waivers. Don't you think? Like there'd be teams trying to get him, like whether you're going from teams like Colorado or Oakland, even like Boston or New York, I feel like there'd be a pretty big market out there for him. Like he'd be valuable on every team except maybe the Dodgers, but like,
might even get Ryan Presley for him.
Not a doubt in my mind. If he went to the Dodgers, he would become an all-star next year. He would be incredible. I also just had a thought of him pitching at Coors Field, and I shuddered a little bit.
The home run rate.
Anyway, good problem to have. I hope that we keep talking about this Twins bullpen, not as like, remember how we thought there were so many candidates to fill it. I hope that it's truly like
that's never happened before.
Yeah, never. Okay, yeah, no, never.
And then it's like mid-August, and we're like, when's Daniel Duarte coming back?
Where's the countdown?
Has anybody seen Ryan Jensen lately? He's a first-round pick. There might be something there.
Who is it? Drew McCacken, right? I think is a new name. That come on down.
Waskery Noah, save us.
Save us, Wasker. Oh, brother. Okay, well, you know what? We filled this time pretty adequately talking about some of the spring training guys that have really caught our eye so far. But I think it's time that we move on to our next segment, and it is everybody's favorite, and I got a feeling it's going to be a juicy one. It's Gregg's Gripes. All right, buckle in, everybody. It is time for Gregg's Gripes. Gregory always has something on his chest. This is his time to get it off his chest and onto us. So, Gregg, what do you got for us?
Okay, so I almost cut us off like 5 minutes ago because my gripe came up in our conversation. Now we are going to revisit it. I am so sick and tired of hearing the Louie Varland discourse. It has been the biggest non-story that I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. It was very clear the first time that he brought it up that he just wanted to be listed as Louie Varland and nothing else changed. And for some reason, we've spent like a month now tripping over ourselves to try and figure out what the most respectful way to address Louie Varland is. No, he wants to be listed as Louie Varland. It's a personal thing, but he did not change his name. He's still Lou Varland. He's still Louie Varland. I'm sure that if people just started calling him Louie Varland, I feel like he's going to be a little bit like uncomfortable about it, like almost type of thing. And all I've got to say is it's wokeness run amok. The postmodern neo-Marxists on the college campuses they're just making up their own rules. How are you going to expect to clean your own room and to rescue your father from the belly of the whale? You're rejecting the rejection of the call to adventure in Joseph Campbell's the hero's journey, man. If you can't figure out what you're supposed to be calling yourself, then what the heck are you? I mean, bloody hell, man.
That was yes.
Use your pronouns, man. I was gonna say you are manufacturing consent, but you went off that tangent and then
with Louie Varland though. Gosh, he must just hate. It must just feel like anytime he opens his mouth that it becomes this massive story, because he talked about, he brought up like, oh, I still see myself as a starter, but I'll help the team win however I can. Back a couple seasons ago when it was like, will he be a starter? Will he be a reliever? And of course, everybody kind of ran with it, and it became a really easy story to write about and to talk about. Then clearly he just got really sick of that.
Refuses to come out of the bullpen.
Yep, exactly.
Louie Varland won't help the team. Who does Louie Varland think he is telling Rocco Baldelli I won't relieve?
Is that Otto from The Simpsons? Are you Otto the bus driver?
Otto dude, no. I guess it's sort of the same thing, but whoa, Bart dude.
Oh man, but no, now he's got to just be like, I'm not talking to anybody anymore. I'm done saying my opinion. I'm giving one word answers, and I'm getting the heck out of this clubhouse post game. Get me out of here.
It is very fun. It is a very funny, like, we have nothing better to talk about spring training thing where this has become like an ongoing story because nobody has anything better to talk about than, oh, what the heck are we supposed to call Louie Varland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's this like licorice pizza, like will they, won't they vibe with turning Louie into a starter. That's Oscar. It's Oscar night. I made an Oscar reference. Nothing more. And so I think they just gotta turn him into a reliever.
You know what? If he's pumping upper 90s, I don't care. I don't care what do you want, what we call him. Let's just keep him up here.
Has anybody checked on Alex Spees?
Spees.
Has he played yet?
Yeah.
Has he pitched? How's he look?
Like Alex Spees.
Throws 100 and no idea where it goes.
Kinda, yeah. I actually haven't watched him. I just know that he has pitched. Most of the games are on while I'm working, so I just kind of box score.
I can't believe you're not checking the Savant after every game.
I should.
I thought you were committed to us, Cody. I thought you were committed to talking ball, but nope. I guess you're just in it for the political commentary.
I've just
Snapper isn't here to look at Savant. It's not going to be us.
No. Greg's made most of the political commentary the last 2 episodes.
Okay. I have not made any political commentary.
He just did like 5 minutes ago, and then you made the JF.
I didn't.
You did a Jordan Peterson impression.
He is a philosopher.
A philosopher on the Daily Wire?
An author. He's just a cleaning service. He just wants to clean your room or whatever it is.
He's a young man.
Alex Spees. Out of the Twins bullpen.
What's the Jungian archetype that's most aligned with Alex Spees?
Greg, he's great.
Who is the Frederick Ingalls of the Twins?
This Greg.
What's the deal with airline food?
Yeah.
Okay, Jerry Stein.
That's good. Well, Greg, thank you so much for putting us on about 12 different tangents with your gripe session there. We appreciate it dearly, but let's go on over to our last segment of the day, and that is the closer. Okay, everybody, it is back. We are going to play a round of Immaculate Gregg. So I'm going to pass this over to Greg, and he's going to explain how this game works for those of you who maybe have forgotten about it, because it's been about 7 months since we've done one of these. So, Greg, what do we got?
Yeah, this is an Immaculate Gregg that we've been sitting on for like 4 months, because every time we try to do it, Cody forgets to do the research for it. So shout out Cody for finally Googling things like who has homered for the Twins ever.
I had to Google that. I couldn't think of anyone.
Well, it certainly wasn't Jose Miranda after July 4th. Anyway, so what we've got here is an Immaculate Gregg. It's a play on Immaculate Grid, if you've ever played that. If you are on our audio only side, maybe you jump over to the YouTube side for a little visual on what we're doing. But we've got a 2x2 grid. Across the top, we've got 2 categories. Across the side, we've got 2 categories. And where they intersect, we've got a category we're trying to name a twin who falls in it. So across the top, let's start on the left. We've got the word homered, and then we've also got never played. Across the top, then, we've got in a playoff win and for the Twins. So our 4 overall categories are homered in a playoff win. So homered in a playoff win, a playoff game the Twins won. Then we've got in the top right, we've got homered for the Twins. And this is just somebody who is homered at all for the Minnesota Twins. In the bottom left, we've got never played in a playoff win. So this is a twin who has never played in a Twins playoff win. And our last category is never played for the Twins. So this is a twin who never played for the Twins. And we've got a lot of potential answers for this one. It sounds counterintuitive, but when you hear the names, you'll understand what we're getting at. So, Cody, choose a number between 1 and 2.
Oh gosh.
So many choices.
2?
It was 1. So we're going to go Lou, Cody, Greg. We're going to do a snake draft. So we can choose in any order, throw out a name to fill up your grid. And at the end, we will read off the names that we have in our grids. So let's start with Lou.
Yeah, so we'll read off our names that we come up with at the end, and then we want to know from you, the listener, whose is your favorite? Whose do you think you would pick just for the creativity? Who do you think is your favorite? Which of these players would be the best in the game? Whatever your criteria is, let us know your favorite. So I will start
with your grid overall. Tell us what your grid would look like.
My grid, we're going to start in the top left, a twin who has homered in a playoff game that the Twins won. This one's creative. I'm going with Mudcat Grant back in Game 6 of the 1965 World Series. Pitcher Mudcat Grant hit a home run for the Minnesota Twins in the game that they won. Unbelievable.
Cody, what do we got?
Okay, I will do homer for the Twins at least once. And I will do Ben Rortvedt.
Ben Rortvedt. Let's go, Ben Rortvedt. Catcher. Is he still in New York? Did he just get
He's with
traded?
the Rays. He's
He's
the
in
Rays.
Tampa. Yeah.
Back
we
up to Danny Jansen.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to go bottom left. Never played in a Twins playoff win, and I'm going to go with Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer never played in a Twins playoff win.
I did not know that.
I
Oh
didn't know that
man.
either. Yeah.
Oh wow, he was on a team that won a playoff game. They did win a game in 2004, but he did not play in it. So
remember when he tagged out Brett Gardner?
Ooh, yes. Remember that double he didn't hit?
Greg, your next pick.
Yes. Homered at least once for the Twins. I'm going to go with Zach Granite. Did homer once for the Twins.
Crap.
Cody.
Okay. Never played for the Twins, but was in an organization. Cody Allen.
Cody Allen.
Oh man. That's a good name. All right, I'm going to stick with that box of was in the organization but never played for the Twins. I'm going to go with Carlos Quinton.
Ooh, good one. And you've got two low.
Oh, yeah. And then let's see. I loved the Zach Granick one for the Twins never won a playoff game that he played in just because of that wild card game. But I'm going to go with my backup. I'm going to go with Rondell White in 2006.
He was on my list, yeah. All right, Cody, what do we got?
Homered in a playoff game the Twins won. I will go with Kyle Farmer.
Ooh,
okay. Yeah,
that's
good.
A big one. All right. So was never played for the Twins. Oh. I want to go with Joel Zumaya.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Was
he the one who got hurt playing Guitar Hero?
Yes, he is.
Yes. Worth it. Great game.
And then for homered in a playoff win, I'm going to go with my favorite player growing up, Bucky Harris. Homered for the 1924 Senators as player manager Bucky Harris.
Nice. Great.
All right.
Pick.
Cody.
Good luck finding a picture.
Twins never won a playoff game he played in. Mr. Jonathan Scope.
Yes.
Good. All right, for my last pick, the twin that homered for the Twins at least once, I'm going to go with the legend himself, Williams Astudillo.
Oh, that's
La Tortuga, baby.
Good work.
All right.
All right. So my grid looks like Bucky Harris, Zach Granite, Joe Mauer, and Joel Zumaya.
Good pick.
Hey,
Cody, what do you got?
My grid is Kyle Farmer, Ben Rortvedt. Who did I pick for the playoff game? I'm spacing right now. Jonathan Scope and Cody Allen.
All right. And for a twin that homered in a playoff game that the Twins won, I have Mudcat Grant. For a twin that homered at least once, I have Williams Astudillo. For a twin that never won a playoff game he played in, I have Rondell White. And a twin that was in the organization but never played for the team was Carlos Quinton. So let us know your favorite out of these options. There are some fun trips down memory lane here. I'm really glad that we were
Akil
able to do this.
Baddoo.
Oh, don't bring him up. Greg, we're at the end of the episode. We cannot bring up Baddoo. Okay, well, fantastic, Greg. This one was immaculate. It did not come short of immaculate. But I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining the Twins Off Daily podcast. And
my walk-off answer is Rod Carew.
I forgot about the walk-off question. Unbelievable. Twin that you wish would have stayed with the organization for their entire career. Greg, was that Ernest? You wanted
yes,
Rod
Carew,
okay.
100%. Not to get all Cody on the situation, but It's a shame that Rod Carew had to leave.
Yes, 100%. For many reasons. Cody, who is yours?
I have a soft spot in my heart for Justin Marneau. I wish he was a Twin his whole career, but he was not.
That would be fun. And mine was one of my favorite players of all time. Turns out I do not see eye to eye with him politically. Mr. Pat Neshek. He was one of my favorite players. excellent pitcher, especially after he left the Twins. He made 2 all-star teams. He signed, I mailed him a card and he mailed it back with a fun little message on it. So I got a soft spot in my heart for Mr. Pat Neshek. Greg, thank you so much for reminding me of that walk-off question. But for right now, we must bid adieu. Thank you very much for joining the Twins Off Daily podcast. And as always, everybody, stay sweet.
Oh, wait, this is our first actual Off Daily podcast in like months.
Yeah.
I do want to make note of that. There's no Twins game today, so use this as to fill the hole in your heart. And so I'm going to sign off with "Stay old."